Okay, so everybody remembers, well, everybody that actually listens to this show remembers when I got laid off back around Valentine's Day, 1997. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boy, those were dark, unpredictable days. I saw people kind of sort of leaving the office left and right. I didn't understand it. There was no rhyme and reason to it. But anyway, a few weeks after that layoff, okay, the weather was a pretty good weather day. Actually, it was very pretty out. It was like one of those rare March days that is actually quite warm. It was one of those unusual days. It was bright, it was sunny, it was warm. It was like as if spring has been around for a lot, and it wasn't. Okay. It was not even, I don't even think it was officially spring yet on the calendar. But on this day, and I was, still, I just got laid off. I was looking around, for a new job, blah, blah, blah. Times were lean. It's a good thing that I was somewhat prepared for such a possibility. And I always remind people, get ready, get ready, get ready. No matter what it is, get ready. Okay. Just get ready. But that day was kind of weird. So I had a window of opportunity to kick back and just sit down and eat my lunch in peace at home, and I was watching a little bit of TV, and all of a sudden I get a call from my daughter. She says, "Ma, you're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" So they had, I think, for some reason or another, half day off from school. She and her friends, and I was kind of like, if you will, the Kool-Aid mom of the area. All the kids like to come by my house. I was like, I'm okay with that because I get to keep an eye out on my daughter, and all the parents never minded when their kids came over my place. So that particular day, they were like, "Yeah, yeah, can I come over?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But she said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "What am I not going to believe?" She says, "Come out to the corner and make a right." Now, this was on the same block, okay? And she said, "You're not going to believe what is somebody just threw away." I said, "What?" She said, "No." So I went there and there was a black leather sectional. It looked brand frappin' new. Okay, so you sure this is someone's like trash? Yes, because on that particular day of the week, they have to put out things of that nature, like furniture and stuff, on that day of the week in that location. So I'm like, "How long has this been sitting there?" She said, "Like minutes." So her friends were with, I said, "Listen, kids, if you can just carry the little pieces home, I'll help too." Notice how I decided to declare it mine. And I said, "You come over and I promise you a pizza right away." Yay! They were like, "Yeah." I was like, only like basically just carrying it around the corner. It didn't even have to cross the street. And it was very, very, it was not a heavy pieces of furniture. They were lightweight. So, amazing, amazing. So they brought it in. We all cleaned up. I also gave them a couple of bucks to go with the pizza and the soda, and a good time was had by all. I have to tell you, my two cats totally loved it, but I promptly, swished them off it because I don't want cat scratches on the leather. So I said, "You know what? Just get a cover. They like to lay down on it. Just get a cover." So total cost of living room sectional black leather, adorable, adorable. The cost of a pizza, soda, and about $5 each, and there were a couple of kids. No big deal. That was a very nice turn of events. Let me tell you something. It was brand spanking new, brand new, but still vacuumed, cleaned, did everything. We had fun that day. Life could be so much fun that day. Something out of a nothing comes a something. I mean, that's out of a nothing comes a something. So it was just like a bright day during my post layoff period of time. Going through a layoff is a psychological thing. It's not only financial. It's like, okay, I worked with wonderful people for like what, 7 years, I think? Something like 7 years. 7 years is a lot of time when you're a full time worker, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Some days were 9 to 5, some days were 8 to 4. However, that's 8 hours of my life spent with these people. You become like a family. and we became like a family within the department. You know how it is. Like, think about it where it is, perhaps where you work. Have you grown, reasonably comfortable with your coworkers? I mean, not necessarily friends, and some I did become friends with, but that's another show. You know, I don't know if it's always a good idea, but literally, I have to say that would have to be reserved for like another show. I'm just saying. It's just one of the reasons I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like being independent in the work arena and stuff like that. That's why I enjoy self-employment. Self-employment through side hustles and maybe something a little more than that. You're independent. You want to take a day off, you answer to no one. You want to work 3 o'clock in the morning for whatever it is you're doing. You can't sleep. You have a lot of energy and you want to work, you do it. You're not feeling great. You don't need someone else's permission. I remember going into that thankless, looking back, I have to say thankless. Sorry, I don't care if somebody I know might be listening. Thankless job. I literally showed up during blizzards, which at that time we had a mayor, and his mayor Giuliani at that time literally got on the news that morning. He said the city of New York is closed. His words, not my words. On that very day, people were skiing. I'm not even kidding you. They were skiing on First Avenue on the Upper East Side. I'm not even kidding you. I'm kidding you. You could like look it up. You could look it up. People were skiing on First Avenue. That's how bad that blizzard was. Highly dangerous. Now, don't get me wrong. They did. Another friend of mine showed up. The two of us were sitting in the hallway with the office doors locked. Like, what are we doing here? She looked at me. I looked at her. She looked at me. I looked at her. I said, this is a dangerous day. The mayor said the city is closed. What are we doing here? All right, so they ended up giving us, my coworker and myself, a couple of days off in recognition, a couple of personal days off. Just take them. You deserve it. It was very nice of you to come in. Yeah, but you know what? You could have done a better job notifying your employees that no, you don't have to show up. But that's its own show. So what did my friend and I, coworker and I, what did we do? We ended up, we slowly, there was no visibility. So we walked to a location because we needed to take a taxi home. Okay. So it was really hard to walk home. It was very dangerous. It was just difficult. People were skiing across First Avenue. I'm not even kidding you. So we ended up at a bakery and we sat there and got like the freshest pastry, the freshest coffee, and it was the most delicious coffee and pastry of our life because we were sitting there shivering in our boots trying to warm up so we could brave the elements to get, if there was a random cab available. And thank the good Lord, I said, come on, Z. I don't want to give her full name, but I called her Z. I said, come on, Z, let's get in this cab. It'll drop me off first because she lived further up. I said, and then, I told the taxi driver, please drop off my friend at such and such location. She was so grateful and so thankful that we shared the ride. I said, of course, don't be ridiculous. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to leave you stranded in the snow. I don't think so. It's not how it works. But, it's just amazing, like the things I recall. But that was during like crazy times. So a few weeks later, to get this unexpected black leather sectional sofa was kind of sort of like, I guess, a little bit of a wink and a nod and a little bit of reward for those dark days, those unappreciated days I went in with fevers and stuff like that. There is a psychological attachment to it. So for anyone who's been laid off, I don't take it lightly. I get it. I get it. I've been there, especially if you're a good worker. And then, the old routine of, well, it isn't you. We had a restructuring. Well, thank you. Glad I know it isn't me because I worked hard. I worked hard and I worked smart and I worked well. And the people there really, really liked me. I'm not boasting. I'm just explaining the truth. I'm just explaining the truth. And I, in turn, really cared for them. So for that was kind of hard, departing from like the people that like you like them, they like you. That was, I think, honestly, for me, I think that was the hardest part, detaching from those folks. But unfortunately, this is life. Life changes, life evolves. We all evolve. I learned a lot from that experience, and it only reaffirmed my continuous need to continue to do things that are independent projects, which I can't stress it enough. Find something, even if it's not a very like a big physical thing to do, like like not day labor kind of stuff. You want to do work on your computer, do it. Today we are offered so many opportunities. We just have to find them. Some people are doing like mad, crazy little jobs. And there are videos that show you that too. All right, everybody, I want to encourage everyone that even though a day may seem dark or a period of time may seem dark, you may one day get a phone call. Somebody's telling you you have a black leather convertible around the corner from you. Okay. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate everybody's time. And thank you so much for your super thanks. Have a great day.